I know what you want. You want to see the movie.
Hello.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah. What's going on, dude?
Hey, yeah, I'm calling in for the show. I'm out here on assignment.
Yeah. An assignment? What are you talking about?
We talked about this last week. I'm calling in from. This is Nick Hard Rock Hotel and Casino calling in from Las Vegas.
Oh my God.
Wait, Nick, are you in Las Vegas right now?
Yeah, I came out here for the thing.
What
we were
thing?
Doing very bad things.
Okay, hold on, Nick. First of all, we're never gonna do very bad things with Christian Slater.
What are you talking about? That's
Dude.
why I'm here. You sent me.
What? Dude.
I brought a bunch of guys, we partied, we got drunk, we killed it. I'm not pulling this out of my ass.
Dude, I appreciate your dedication to the podcast, but we aren't doing very bad things. We're doing Dracula Vs Frankenstein.
You're doing what? Why?
We did not ask you to kill anybody.
Frankenstein? What the fuck is that?
It's a movie where Dracula brawls with Frankenstein, and Raquel is filling in for you tonight on the podcast. We're recording right now.
Raquel is there right now, filling in for me?
It's true, I'm here.
What? So I drew. God, this is not what we discussed at all.
Well, Nick, I'm sorry, but maybe you had a conversation with somebody that wasn't us.
I don't know. Maybe it was all the hallucinogenics I took. I don't remember.
All right, man. Well, hey, you're in Vegas, and that's something.
Yeah, like a fucking 6.5 hour drive.
Oh, hey, man. 6.5 hour drive to the promised land, baby. You went 3,000 miles to Graceland. You're like Kevin Costner now. And Kurt Russell.
I'm very discouraged now. You know what? Talk about your Frankenstein movie, whatever. It's fine.
All right. Well, we'll see you on the next episode, okay?
Yeah. All right. I'll be there. Hopefully, if we discuss and coordinate properly.
All right. Be safe, boo boo.
Yeah. You do the same, Wolfman.
Bye.
Bye.
Ooh, he seemed mad.
Well, that's awkward, because today on the Real Obscure Podcast, we're not talking about very bad things. We're talking about Dracula v Frankenstein. And I'm...
The not so aptly named movie?
Nope, not at all.
Not so aptly.
And I'm Anthony Trevino. And sitting next to me, looking as good as always with a fresh-ass new haircut and a beard trim.
Goddamn right. This is Brandon Talking Pie Freeze.
And right across from me, back for another guest episode, is...
Raquel Valdez.
Woo!
And tonight, what did we watch again, Brandon?
Dracula vs. Frankenstein, or...
Dracula versus Frankenstein. The absolutely not aptly named movie. To the point where we got... I mean, how long was that movie? 70, 80 minutes, maybe?
It was like 80 minutes.
80 minutes. We probably got an hour in. I was like... So they were just fucking with us, calling this Dracula versus Frankenstein, right? Because this shit's not happening. In fact, they seem to be working together.
Yeah. They only fight at the end where... Well, I guess we'll get there. So, Brandon, you've seen this movie several times.
Mm-hmm.
Which means it's on you, my man, to take us on a journey to Spud Town. This episode's going to be a nightmare.
Yeah, this is going to be real off the rails. So this movie is roughly about it's about several things. Mm-hmm. Originally, it was made to be a motorcycle crime thriller, but as they were making that, they decided they didn't want that, so they said, hey, let's make it a monster movie with the footage you have and just shoot some bullshit.
So what stuff did they have?
They had
the motorcycle dudes?
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
The motorcycle rape gang?
Yeah.
That's it?
Uh-huh.
And then they turned it into a Dracula versus Frankenstein movie?
That's why this movie makes no sense.
What the I mean, because that part did kind of come out of nowhere and seem... I mean, out of everything, that seemed the most disconnected to the plot.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with anything.
So you telling me that that's originally what it was supposed to be about is...
Shocking?
Confusing, more like it.
Were they just like, oh, you know what'd be better? Dracula and Frankenstein. Mm-hmm. And not only that, but Dracula working with a mad scientist to create a Frankenstein's monster that will then kidnap more ladies for them?
Well, I'm just imagining that some dude had, like, this vision in his head of, like, a scene from a movie where some motorcycle dudes pin down a woman and are about to rape her. And then they're like, well, wait, this didn't turn into a whole movie like I expected it to be.
Guys, I don't think there's enough for this short film. It's just rape.
It's just a woman about to be raped. And they're like, oh, fucking, well... You know, the plot next door, they were shooting some old horror movie, so, you know.
About a secret mad scientist running a freak show?
He runs a freak show at a carnival.
Yeah.
But he is in, like, he's in the lineage of Frankensteins.
Okay.
Of, like, Doctors Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
the Doctor's Frankenstein.
Doctors
Frankensteins.
And he collects bodies for his show, which is like the hit, like the gruesomeness of death and people getting their heads cut off and a gorilla holding a woman.
Yeah, it's a real bucket of blood scenario, I guess.
And so essentially there are 3 or 4 movies in this movie. Mm-hmm. It's the carnival with that doctor, it's the motorcycle gang, and it's Dracula and Frankenstein. And they kind of intertwine a little bit with the kind of the main woman coming to find her missing friend? Sister.
I think it was sister.
Missing sister. You guys, we just watched this movie.
I didn't know. I thought it was friend at the beginning, and then at like the end when she actually finds the person, she says sister, or the doctor says, you see, it's your sister.
Oh God.
And you could just this actor playing the scientist. He's an elderly man in a wheelchair, and he has fake teeth. And every time he talks, you can hear his fake teeth clicking.
Which I never noticed until Brandon told me, and then
like,
could not unfucking hear for the rest of the movie.
It's like he has a fucking bag of bones rattling around in his mouth. Just, like, with every syllable.
It becomes impossible to hear anything he's saying.
Because that's all you're focusing on.
Yep.
You're just like, your whole body is cringing, waiting for the next time his teeth are going to chatter together.
I have this exhibit unattended for several reasons. I believe we all should experience life with a natural spontaneity. And this can only happen if there are no restraints. Do you agree? The Romans had their Circus Maximus, seating over 200,000. But their spectacles were no more bizarre than that which I can conjure up for you right here. Now, look here. Now look there. Man, it sure looks real. True. All illusions look real, or they wouldn't be illusions, would they?
And so this woman is searching for her sister, who was last seen at this carnival, and it's just kind like in her searching, she goes to this like weird hippie club where this guy with a huge scar on his forehead drugs her, and there's like this like acid freak out scene.
I had almost forgotten about that part.
Yeah, so the movie, we're kind of freeballing it here, you guys, because the movie opens with Dracula robbing like stealing that corpse that they then turn into Frankenstein, because I guess he's working for the wheelchair-bound doctor.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know why Dracula needs to work for anybody. You're Dracula.
I mean...
Is this a better movie would be Dracula slumming it on Skid Row as a roadie for, like, Motley Crue in the 80s.
But this Dracula he has like this small afro and this sharp goatee, like perfectly trimmed.
We said he looks like Sacha Baron Cohen.
He does. Yeah. He totally looks like Borat.
Yeah. And he's constantly talking like this.
With this weird, like, reverb effect that's, like, no matter where he is, no matter what setting, when he's, like, outside, when he's inside the interior, just sitting in the passenger seat of this, like, old-ass 70s Cadillac, his voice is constantly like he's on the far end of a cavern. I don't know. This Dracula canon is real weird. He got a decoder ring that can shoot lasers that set people on fire.
He's got a really sick finger gauntlet.
Oh, it's great. It's like a demon face, but it's like a cyclops has one eye and the eye's red, and it shoots lightning.
It does. It shoots lightning that then forces you to burst into flames. It's pretty great. It's great. And so what we didn't mention is that Dracula's working with the doctor to bring the monster back because the doctor wants to get revenge on another doctor that basically was like, you're a fucking fraud, you suck, you're a weirdo, you're a quack. And then they revive the Frankenstein's monster, and then God, it cuts to this like competing doctor in a car, to which Dracula just shows up in his passenger seat.
Yeah.
What? Oh, hi Dracula, when did you get here? What? And they
with
come
the
across
booming voice on the other side of the cavern.
They come across the monster that's walking down the street, and did they just let this thing go, and then Dracula had to then figure out where it would be at that point in time? It seemed like they revived a full-on monster man, and then just walk out the door.
Yeah.
It's like someone's dog got out of their house. And it's just like, oh shit, where did our Frankenstein go?
And so Dracula tells him, get out of the car, doctor. Right? And he gets out, tussles.
Frankenstein rips open the door and then just like pulls him out.
Yeah, and then kills him.
Yep. Yeah. And that doctor was played by Forrest J. Ackerman.
Yeah.
So that was neat.
Forey Ackerman.
Little Forey X.
Meanwhile, the main female lead, Joni, is like hanging out with this group of weird swinging hippies.
Oh, this movie is rotten with hippies.
Yeah.
Rotten with Hippies, the Brandon Freese review 2019.
That's right. It's my autobiography.
Including this other couple that first goes into the freak show thing, the doctor's freak show, which, I mean, they don't really have any significance to the film, but they just keep showing up. It's just like this woman and then her boyfriend who's wearing Beetlejuice's pants
in a reggae poncho.
Yeah. This guy, I got a problem with this guy. They're walking down an alley saying, everything has meaning, man, and he picks up a tire. It's like, no, it's just a tire in an alley.
Which is when we get introduced to the motorcycle rape gang, who just kind of show up just to be dicks.
Yeah, just to be assholes.
Just to rape.
Just to rape.
They just see a woman in the middle of the street, and it's like, oh no, the men in her life are 5 feet away from her. She's free for the taking.
Yep. And the leader of this bike gang is played by Russ Tamblyn, who is probably mostly well known for Dr. Jacoby in Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
He was also in West Side Story,
which is a fun fact, right?
Right?
So they're like, all right, fine, you'll go, but next time, rape.
They just leave it at that. But next time, next time,
they just leave that hanging in the air.
It's like, we know you were gonna rape her, and then when you find her again, you pin her down, and you're about to rape her.
There was some sandy rape.
Some pretty sandy rape.
I mean,
it doesn't actually happen because
yeah,
they get murdered by Frankenstein first.
This might be the first time we've bounced around so much in a movie just because this movie is full of nonsense. And I thought Dr. Caligari was full of nonsense, but that movie was linear nonsense.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is just fucking nonsense.
Yeah. And working for the Doctor is Lon Chaney.
Yeah.
Who plays this, like, monster man.
He's just a big kind of... He's a simpleton.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a big simpleton who... is also addicted to this crazy juice that the Doctor keeps shooting him up with.
He just calls serum.
Serum,
yeah.
He's
Gotta get that serum.
I want to believe this simpleton came to the Doctor and said, "Hey, I want to be better, faster, stronger, like that Steve Rogers guy."
And he's like, "I got just the thing." Click, click,
click. I got just the thing. And then
he
were you about to say he ejaculated?
Yeah, he has 2 syringes. One's like a hunk, a little caricature of a hunk. The other one's a big fat guy drinking a beer. He's like, I don't know. They kind of look the same.
He has a comical scene where he accidentally drops them, and they're both in the same pile, and he's like,
oh shit, can't figure out
which is the right one.
But one will help you wear this too tight blue T-shirt and rip logs in half, and the other one will just turn you into a fucking Matt Groening character. You're now an extra on King of the Hill. Joke's on you, my man.
This one will turn you into a lumpy alcoholic.
Dude was lumpy. Dude was real lumpy.
He was pretty lumpy.
Like, everywhere.
Yeah. He was the wolf man.
It's true. And so he sends that, he gets him jacked up on all that crazy juice, and he sends them out, and those fucking hippies are hanging out on the beach again, and
talking
then
about bullshit,
talking about love and peace, hey man,
Gemini's in retrograde.
Gemini's. Oh, Brandon, brother, my pearl of this universe, it's Mercury in retrograde, my brother.
All right, well, I'm gonna go.
Whoa!
Hippie bullshit.
Yeah, if you couldn't tell, Raquel, Brandon just doesn't enjoy hippies.
Are you sure? I couldn't really get that.
Yeah, they're all right.
What sign are you? What's your sign?
I think I'm a Scorpio.
Are you?
I think
I don't know what that fucking means. I just wanted to bug you and ask you what your sign is.
It means I'm a scorpion. Watch out for my tail. Yeah. Click, clack, click, clack.
I'm a Cancer. Both in sign and 2 other people.
We know.
Yeah, I beat you to the joke before you got there. So, suck it. So the Doctor sends... Meanwhile, there comes to a point in the movie where you forget that Dracula and Frankenstein are in it, because it turns into this weird thing where Joni's hanging out with these swinging hippies, and the Doctor is just bitching all the time to the I think his name is Gordon. Gorton.
It's
Groton. Groton.
It's Groton.
Yeah.
Groden.
Yeah.
Charles Grodin.
Wait a minute. And you literally forget that this is a movie where Dracula and Frankenstein are supposed to fight.
Yeah. I think...
Yeah, that was probably about, like, the hour mark. That's what I was saying, where I was like, that's just... I was watching this movie trying to keep up with it, and then I remembered it was called Dracula Vs Frankenstein, and I just thought, so that's just not happening. They was just, this is a fucking clickbait of a movie title.
You got BuzzFeeded by the movie title.
Like, I thought this was gonna happen, and now I'm just feeling like I've been robbed of my time.
The trailer for this movie, you won't believe what happens when these 2 get in a room.
Yeah. But first, Dracula was born in Transylvania.
Oh, God.
In the railways of Transylvania at that time.
Makes you take a quiz to find out if you're more Dracula or Frankenstein.
Before it tells you, first you have to learn who you are to really understand the mindset of what happens next.
But it's totally unrelated questions. It's just which of these colors do you like most?
When you're surfing the internet, do you buy X or Y?
I buy all my Ys.
I hate that clickbait, and it gets me sometimes. It's like, this dog was rescued, but you won't believe how, and I gotta know!
I gotta know what happened to that dog.
And then midway through it, you realize that you're like, I fell for it! Fuck!
This is just an ad for soap, goddammit.
And so the Doctor sends the other monster man, the human monster man, to go... I don't know if he sends him to go save them, or to at least... I think he probably meant to have the monster man just go kill all those fucking hippies. Mm-hmm. But what ends up happening is the motorcycle gang comes back we get down to almost rape again, and then they all get axed. Unfortunately, human monster man, he not so good with an axe, so he accidentally kills her too.
Yeah, that does
He
happen.
sure does. That was a real salt the earth approach.
Yeah.
She does not have a good time in
Nope.
that movie. She
minutes-
definitely gets a raw deal there.
The last minutes of her life were terror.
Where, oh no, motorcycle rape, oh no, giant monster man.
Oh no, axe.
And then she died.
And then she died. But what we come to find out later is swinging 70s dude in Joni, the other main character who we probably should have named, but this isn't a very professional podcast.
The dude with the Wakanda, Wakanda Forever.
Yeah, oh my god, this guy sucks.
Yeah.
This is a guy who truly believes that it's appropriate for him to wear a fucking dashiki.
Yeah,
right?
Yep.
definitely.
Because he's cultured.
Yeah.
And
it's not about appropriation, it's about celebration.
Oh.
He has a black friend.
A black friend.
That's why you can say the N-word.
What? No! Brandon!
I mean, we could all agree though.
Nick, look, I didn't want to say anything, but last episode, Nick really was Nick's in defense of the N-word
he was smiling so big.
The listeners couldn't see it, but Nick definitely came in here with a Make America Great Again hat on and a t-shirt that was just white with a big black swastika on it. That's right, Nick. Do you hear me? I'm slandering you.
And what was the deal?
And a dashiki.
So it was very confusing. And then he also said, "Hold on, let me put on my my poncho."
What was the deal with him texting us both while we were recording, saying, "I want to say the N-word so bad."
Hey guys, have you read the send link to the Turner Diaries?
I mean, I really wish Nick would stop sending us Breitbart articles. Fuck you, Nick.
So I don't even really know what role that guy played.
The Wakanda Forever guy?
Yeah.
I don't know if he really played any role other than to...
Besides at the very end where...
I feel... I don't know, because I think he was trying to help Joni find her sister because the detective who definitely looks like David Lynch wasn't, I guess, helping.
But also definitely also banged Joni.
He was also in it to get it wet.
Yeah.
So that's what he was there for.
Mean, he's a swinging bachelor in the 70s. He's got an apartment on the beach.
He's got a Wakanda Forever necklace.
I mean, they definitely banged in the grass, and then, the camera cuts away. By the way, this movie is, 80 minutes, but was still way too long.
Yep.
Because how many fucking scenes were there of, a seagull flying through the air, or, randos surfing
There's a
at the
solid
beach.
2 minutes of some fucking assholes surfing.
Yeah.
What the fuck
and the
does that
whole
have to do with
number
anything?
at the beginning, Joni's, song and dance number at the beginning...
Yep.
Which was just
that's to establish
is this...
establishing her character.
What kind of Temple of Doom situation do we have going on here?
It was a lot like Temple of Doom.
Yeah.
Oh man, was it? I don't remember Temple of Doom enough to know.
You'll forget Temple of Doom opens with a musical number.
Yeah, it does. With I don't even remember what her name is, but
with Kate Capshaw.
Yeah.
With
Willie. Willie. Yeah.
Worst
Willie
character
has a
in that
whole
franchise.
Song and dance number at the beginning, and yeah.
You guys are just fucking mind blown now.
We gotta rewatch the Indiana Jones movies.
Hey, we watched Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I have no interest in going back to the rest of those movies.
Oh, don't let the other ones suffer for those.
I'm sorry, Brandon.
Oh,
the whole thing's been tainted.
It has.
You. Oh.
It's like finding out your partner has HIV. You just can't go back in there. Right? That's exactly the same.
You heard it here first. Anthony Trevino, HIV prophet.
Whoa, prophet? Raquel? Bye!
No, they're only us. Let's call Nick back.
Let's call Nick back. Maybe he can give us some more hard R's. The episode where Raquel gets up and leaves 4 times.
I know we've moved past it, but I know Nick is going to come back and say there were too many N-words in Las Vegas. I mean, when...
He's gonna come back and say there were a lot of, in quotations, Asian tourists.
Yeah, and we all know what that means. He uses that term for all minorities, and it's like, when do we say something?
Well, we're saying something right now, publicly.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, if you know Nick Rock's mom, please.
Hi, Mom.
Please do something about Nick Rock's racism.
This is actually a PSA to talk directly to Nick, Nick's mom, and what are we gonna do about his racism?
I mean, Nick Rock's rampant racism is out of control.
Oh, this is gonna be real bad for him.
You know what? You know why we're talking about this?
Why?
Because this movie fucking sucked. It's boring as shit.
Yeah,
There's nothing else to talk about.
You know, but we're almost done. Shorty episode, you guys, I guess.
It's gonna have to be. You know what we should have watched? We should have watched the true crime documentary on Netflix called Abducted in Plain Sight.
No,
we could have been here for 5 hours talking about that shit show of a documentary.
We could have, and Raquel, I wanted to, but somebody in this room decided they were too good to watch it with me last night because they had to go on a date.
What? Well, hey, I didn't get this haircut for nothing.
He goes on a date and thinks he's fucking top dog now. He just blew me off. Didn't even get home till late. I went to bed before I went to bed alone.
Wow. I mean, we can't talk about this on here.
Yeah, we can. We are, because we could have spent 5 hours talking about that documentary where somebody goes, for me to really... my therapist says that in order to like really get into my treatment, I have to be alone with your daughters. Excuse me? Let me tell you something. If somebody
that sounds plausible. Here, take them. There's your bedroom. It's unlocked.
And I'm leaving to go to the store. Mm-hmm. If somebody came to me and said, my therapist says I have to be alone with your daughters as a part of my treatment, I'm killing you. I'm literally killing you on the spot.
How many times have you used that, though?
Never. Oh, no. Gross. How dare you? How dare you? First you slander Nick for his racism.
No, just him. I remember it.
You are not turning this around on me. This is when we just fall apart.
Yes.
Click, clack, click,
okay,
clack.
the only other thing to talk about with this movie is that in fucking finally... when actually Dracula versus Frankenstein happens, where you're actually like, oh shit, this was called Dracula versus Frankenstein because they actually fight. Shit's so dark you can't see anything at all. But of course, it was definitely shot at like 4 p.m.
Yeah.
In the daylight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In the woods somewhere where there's just a lot of shadows, but they put on that like old cheap ass night filter to make it look like it was shot at night. Even though they're definitely walking around and you see their shadows on the ground, you know how that happens at night.
Yeah.
Yeah, from the moon.
Yeah. And they fucking fight.
Stupid.
You can't see anything. You can't see anything.
Yeah.
Well, let me just dial it back a bit. What happens is after Groton, Gritton, Groton, I don't fucking remember his name, takes the woman's body back, and we find out that the doctor has apparently a collection of ladies.
There's two. There's two
other ones. Oh, is it just two?
Yeah.
All right. 2 ladies. Like he's just getting started on his lady box collection.
He has 2, and then he wants Joni to be the 3rd.
Yeah. And the Wakanda Forever guy shows with Joni, and there's a confrontation with the guy that runs the freak show, which is a dwarf, and he tries to escape, and he tries to go down a ladder, but he drops an axe and he falls. He trips in face first into an axe.
Can I mention first that he fucking throws a puppy down the stairs first?
He does throw a puppy down the stairs.
And then falls down on top of the axe, so, fuck him.
Yeah, fuck him. Yeah. I mean, this movie is full of people who die, and you're like, nah, fuck him.
Yeah, all right, yeah.
That whole motorcycle gang of rapists, fuck them.
Oh, fuck them.
Yeah. So, and then Dracula finally shows back up. Mm-hmm. And again, you guys, this movie's fucking ridiculous, but they end up on the roof, and they're trying to get away and just, what is happening on this rooftop?
Well, that's when the police / David Lynch and the poncho Beetlejuice pants dude finally show up, and then you see Joni running across the roof, and then the Dracula dude is chasing after them, and then David Lynch shoots the Frankenstein dude.
He shoots him, and then he turns on Dracula,
Yeah.
and he starts trying to choke out Dracula, and Dracula's like, "No, not me!"
Oh, yeah.
And then he hypnotizes him and brings him over to his side.
He sends Frankenstein's monster after Joni and this other dude. But Frankenstein's really slow and stupid, and also Homeboy has a flare that he waves in front of Frankenstein's face.
True,
He's like,
yeah.
"No, back, you demon, be
very
gone!"
Very distracting.
It's very distracting and apparently very horrifying for a monster.
Yeah.
And then so Frankenstein runs away. Dracula's like, "What the fuck?" And so they're running, and this is finally I get to see Dracula's ring in full action. Right? He shoots this little electricity bolt, and then the next shot is the dude's flaming corpse.
Oh,
Yeah, on the
it's
ground.
so cool.
Which
And then
is pretty
Joni
funny.
gets so startled she just faints, of course, as women
As
do.
as you do.
As women do. This is as I was describing to him when you got up and missed that part when we went to the bathroom. But, see, like how normal people, and by that I mean men, like when they have that, like they're in an intense moment and they get adrenaline rushing through their body. With women, actually, it's just estrogen. You just get like a rush of estrogen and it just makes you faint.
Oh, see, I just get real jacked and want to kill stuff.
Yeah.
Your balls get huge and you want to kill everything.
That's
Yeah.
right, and I can't find relief until I just take the life of everything around me.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay.
That's how that works.
Oh, that sounds like real spot-on science.
Yeah, I know. It's real annoying when it happens, but
That's the name of my magazine, Spot on Science.
Was that your cross to bear, Raquel, as
Yeah.
a woman?
yeah,
Okay.
happens all the time. Just get spooked, like someone comes up behind me and just faint.
It's like
But is it very dramatic? Do you put the back of your hand on your forehead and go,
I mean, how else would I do it?
you fall onto your fainting
just
couch.
fucking face first into an axe? Yeah. Dead.
Yeah, all women are like those goats who pretend to faint as a defense mechanism.
Or
what we
possums
are.
who pretend to play dead.
Yeah.
Spot on possum impress, bro.
Oh, I know. No one could see it, but it was spot on.
What do goats, possum, and women have in common?
What, Raquel?
Just that. They
Oh.
just faint.
Smash cut to a church?
Yeah, smash cut.
Just
With
like
Dracula-
Hosier, they're taking her to church.
Oh, I hate that song. Take me to church. I will be doing
Oh, we almost got there.
That song reminds me of a friend that me and Raquel went to college with. That's right. Hot take on this podcast. So cut to Dracula slow lighting candles in a church for whatever reason. I guess we have to
Which
see
is
him light
another
every single fucking candle.
long. Like, again, just we get seagulls, we get randos surfing, and we get candle lighting.
We see him light every candle in this church in real time.
Right.
What? And so Dracula's like, I'm gonna kill her, and Frankenstein's like,
Or are they gonna kill her? Or are they gonna make her into an undead? I do remember
I
something
don't-
about an undead army being
Yeah.
mentioned briefly at one point, which I think is what the women were for.
okay.
So I think they
I mean,
want to
who
turn
wants-
her into another undead.
Who wants an army that's just constantly fainting?
You
Maybe
beat
he
me to
was-
the joke.
Maybe he was trying to turn her into like another vampire because he was gonna.
So not a
Yeah,
real
he was-
doll.
he
Well,
was
he
gonna
was
bite her.
no, not a real doll, because that would probably
kinda.
be more useful. But
I mean, at the rate of which these things are going in this
rate
movie,
of which
yeah.
Joni faints, then yeah. But I don't know. He was gonna put her in a coffin. There was a lot that he was doing. He lit a lot of fucking candles,
Yep.
and at some point you just kind of tuned out. And then there was a coffin. He's like, "Oh, the coffin!" Like
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
other side of the cavern. Remember?
The coffin!
Yeah.
Coffin that she's
What?
going to lay in. And I'm like, for what? Okay.
For what purpose?
Yeah.
What is the Frankenstein's monster's motivation, though, to turn on Dracula? Is it that he sees her and is like,
Something.
I'm in love?
I think
Yeah,
it's that.
something awakens inside of his
Oh, I bet it
paper
does.
mache half half man
Yeah,
face.
he looks like a smashed potato.
I think it's also like the Dracula hypnotizing thing wearing off too.
Sure.
Yeah, who cares?
Yeah.
I don't know. He just happens to turn on Dracula, and then they go out into the woods, at quote-unquote night, but it's definitely the daytime.
Well, the brawl starts in the church.
Yeah.
And then they spill out into the daytime.
They roadhouse out into that.
That's right. It is a full-on Patrick Swayze roadhouse brawl.
Now you will join me in the world of the living dead.
Except not, you can't see
except
shit.
it's choreographed in the same way that old Star Trek fights are choreographed.
You're kind of just grab each other's arms and
and
wrestle
move
a bit.
back and forth,
Yeah.
and then it's dark as shit. But at some point, Dracula rips Frankenstein's arms off.
Yeah, we get a full, like, Monty Python and the Holy Grail, like, the Black Knight, the Dark Knight, what is that one?
The Black Knight, Dark
Black
The
Knight.
African American Night, please.
Yeah, sorry.
And then Dracula wins. He rips his head off.
Head off, yeah.
But this might actually be my favorite thing about this movie. Dracula is so dumb that this brawl moved so far and so deep into the forest that Dracula then realizes, oh, fuck, the sun's coming up.
Which, to remind you, it
It's
was
been
already
up.
up.
It's up this whole time. And so Dracula, like, tries to run back to the church to get back inside, but it's too late. So he falls and he's slowly crawling.
The fucking longest death scene. It's just a shot of, like, the trees with the sun kind of shining through it, and then a shot of Dracula's face. Then the sun with the sun through the leaves, and then Dracula's face, but he has, like, more flour on his face.
Yeah, he looks like Dracula covered in shaving cream.
And then the leaves with the sun shining through, and then he's more makeup. And that just happens like 10 times until eventually it looks like, he's a rotten pumpkin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to know if this was an actual effect where they time-lapsed it to show his face, like, becoming more and more sunken in, or if it's just they just kept applying more stuff to narrow it out.
I'm pretty sure they just kept applying more shit onto his face.
Because they cut away every time.
Yeah.
Then they cut back and it's more makeup.
Every time's a fresh cut with more makeup. And then you think, okay, that's where the movie should end.
But it doesn't.
But no, we have to go back inside. Joni, I'm like struggling to get my hands free. And then she walks slowly out of the church. And then she sees Dracula's like cape on the ground.
His wonderful cowl.
But it's not even a rotten pumpkin anymore. It's just some fucking dirt.
It's some leaves.
It's some dirt and some wood chips. Like...
Oh, well.
And then she looks at it, and then you go back to Joni's face, and then back to the dirt and wood chips, and then back to her face, and then like...
Slow zoom on the ring.
Yeah, slow zoom on the ring, yeah.
And that's it. Movie over. This might be our most unstructured episode, but you know what?
It's Friday night, baby.
It's Friday night, and this movie's fucking bullshit. So
How could you even remember, like,
you guys,
the order in which that movie happened? And does it even matter?
We sat down in here to do this episode, and I was like, I can't remember how the movie starts. Did any of you remember?
Nah. Even now that we've already done the episode, I'm trying to remember. It starts... Oh, with the Dracula.
the grave robbing.
Yeah.
But it took me well into this episode to even remember
Don't ask
that.
me what happens right after that. 'Cause
I think they go to the freak show and we meet the dwarf.
We're just starting the episode over again.
All right, welcome to the real... All right, so Raquel, since you were last on, we have a new thing we do.
Okay, whoa.
Now we're doing 3 things. Did you like this movie? Would you recommend it? And why do you think it's an obscure film?
Okay. Did I like it? Would I recommend it? And why is it obscure? This movie sucked. It was just like, it wasn't even like, I guess there were some parts that were kind of entertaining, but it's sandwiched between so many other parts that aren't entertaining.
It's like when you're a kid and you're like, I'm going to make a sandwich, but it's going to be a weird sandwich. Yeah. So I'm going to get like Wonder Bread and potato chips and gummy bears and fucking peanut butter and marshmallow sauce covering it. And then you eat it, you're like, ugh.
But then you also put like cheese and mayonnaise on it too, because you wanted it to be a real sandwich.
The ultimate sandwich.
It's like one time Brandon and I made, when we were like teenagers, we made a really disgusting drink full of nonsense, and we were out there trying to drink it, and my grandpa walked out. And my grandpa walks out, takes this drink, takes a sip, and goes, what did he like?
He's like, well, that's disgusting.
Yeah, and then went back inside. And then I was like, I think my grandpa just pissed on us both to say we're like a couple of pussies. So, anyway, Raquel, I go on.
No, it was just like, it was just boring. Like, when it comes down to it, a movie can be stupid and can be nonsensical, but if it's at least entertaining, then I might like it. This was just boring, and it was more boring than any part that was even remotely entertaining. And then you always have to throw in the completely unnecessary, like, pretty graphic. I mean, she doesn't actually get raped because she gets killed before that, but like,
but the implications there.
Yeah,
and that's something
of them holding her down, and then their faces like, yeah,
that's prevalent in a lot of these movies that we talk about on the podcast.
That was just
but
kind of prevalent in 70s horror, and
I think it's prevalent in movies.
Yeah.
It's like we didn't really start talking about this until recently. At least I didn't notice it. Is the kind of romantic comedy trope from like the late 90s and the 2000s, where is you just have to be so persistent and border on stalker, and then the girl will fall in love with you. Yeah. If you're just a persistent douchebag, you'll get a girlfriend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's how that works.
Right?
Yeah. So did I like it? No. I would highly recommend that you watch the true crime documentary on Netflix called Abducted in Plain Sight, because that was way better than this. That's a fucking wild ride.
Same story though.
Yeah.
Same story.
Pretty much.
Dracula Dracula Vs Frankenstein, Brawl at Dawn.
Yeah. I mean, pretty much. I would highly recommend that you watch that. Is this movie obscure? Is that the third question?
Why do you think it's obscure?
Why do I think it's obscure? I mean, I guess for obvious reasons, I hadn't really heard of it. It's kind of one of those things where if someone told me that there was a movie called Dracula vs. Frankenstein, I'd be like, of course there's a movie called Dracula vs. Frankenstein.
But was it what you thought it was?
No, because like I told you, I got probably about 70 minutes into this 80-minute long movie, and I was like, I got fucking BuzzFeeded here. I got BuzzFed.
You did.
I got BuzzFed. This was clickbait.
A whole bunch of buzz.
It made me watch this movie thinking that there was going to be a Dracula versus Frankenstein brawl, and it never happens. And then when it finally does happen, you can't even see shit. Mm-hmm. So you get fucking robbed of that, too.
Yeah.
And so, no, it was not. It was not what I expected. I was just saying, is it obscure? Yeah, I guess. I mean,
it's one of those things where you're like, it's obscure because it sucks.
I can't. Yeah. I can't imagine that this was like, a hit at the box office at any period in any time.
Spawned 4 sequels.
God.
Oh yeah.
If you told me there was a sequel, I would actually walk out.
Yeah. Right now. Dracula versus Frankenstein versus the Mummy on the set of Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yes, please.
It's like those stupid comics they keep pumping out, like Ash versus Evil Dead versus Army of Darkness.
Yeah.
Versus Halloween.
Versus Swamp Thing.
Featuring a guest appearance.
In space.
Yeah. Brandon? I'm throwing those questions at you too. Mon ami.
Ew.
I gambited you.
I have a soft spot for this movie. I really have a soft spot for the...
I mean, I would hope so if you've seen it 4 times.
It's true.
I
I've seen this movie a
cannot
lot.
imagine watching this again.
I've seen it. I just like the general aesthetics of these like late 60s, early 70s horror movies. They're not good most of the time, but there's something about them that are pretty charming to me. I probably wouldn't recommend this movie to most people just because it is pretty boring and doesn't make much sense and kind of meanders. And it's obscure because it's just it's a movie that was made to be obscure. No one cares about this movie.
This was not a major cinematic release. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, it was for me.
Yeah.
The Bram Stoker estate was like, that's the right movie.
Yep. To represent our brand.
All right, me?
Yeah.
My go. Thank you, mon chéri. So
Buongiorno.
Hey, y'all got any fromage?
Do I like this movie? Okay, so let me preface it with this. I saw this movie when I was a kid. I had bought it on VHS because I was like 8 or 9, whatever, and at the video store, and I was like, oh shit, Dracula versus Frankenstein, Grandma, buy this for me! So...
It definitely does sound like the type of movie when if you were a kid you would think is going to be the fucking coolest movie you've ever seen.
And for some reason I had always I don't know if there's a different movie where a vampire or Dracula gets killed on ice.
You kept bringing that up
because that's how I remembered the ending in my head is Dracula gets chased out onto like a big sheet of like a big frozen lake and then falls through and dies. And I don't know what movie that was or if I made it up completely, which is it's possible. I've done it before.
Your mind was so like tarnished by this shitty movie. It had to make up a better ending just so you could get through it.
It did. And so I've always been like, oh, that movie's fun and I like it. And much like when I revisited Neon Maniacs a few years ago, after that just being one of a movie I stood by growing up, like, yeah, it's a great fucking movie. Neon Maniacs is pretty cool, you guys. And then I watched it and I was like, oh boy, this movie's not so good. Do I like this movie? No, it's pretty dumb. It's dumb. It is a little charming in certain aspects. I do like, much like Brandon, I like certain aesthetics of this time in horror.
The aesthetics?
Oh no!
I really did appreciate the aesthetics.
You guys,
there were certain parts that were problematic.
You guys are dicks.
The aesthetic appeal of it.
You are gonna give him shit when he said it.
I was just suddenly reminded of it.
Let me just push up my glasses.
Yes.
Would I recommend it? No, I think it's good for bad movie clubs. If you want to do that with your friends, it might be fun for that. But overall, it's pretty fucking boring. Mm-hmm. It makes zero sense. You could watch a better movie, which is Tobe Hooper's The Funhouse, which is similar, just without Dracula and Frankenstein brawling.
Mm-hmm. You need to watch this movie with other people so you can talk over it and joke about it.
What are you saying, Raquel? You can't sit and watch this movie alone.
No, I would fall asleep or I would turn it off or just get fucking bored. Like I would just be bored to tears and I'd be on my phone the whole time.
I just get back on Pornhub. Dracula v Frankenstein. Hey, it's there.
Hey, all right. So tell us more about the aesthetics.
Shut up. You know what I'm saying.
Tell us about which parts are problematic.
This movie had some things that were mighty problematic, but despite that, I felt it had relevance in cinema to its day.
Not a lot of minority representation.
Was there any?
No.
I saw one.
Oh, yeah, there was Dracula. Pretending to be a jive-talking black guy.
Oh, you mean right. Xandor Vorkov.
God, Dracula looks so strange in this movie. Yeah. All right, let me get back on track. Yeah. Would I recommend it? Only if you want to do a fun bad movie club. Mm-hmm. Why do I think it's obscure? Because it's a nonsense fucking movie, and it sucks. That's it.
How fucking dare you?
Brandon!
How fucking dare you? You just talked about the aesthetics.
Yeah, it's got some interesting... Look, I like that sleazy late 60s, early 70s movie look, but it's still a shitty movie.
Oh. Tell us about the aesthetics of that fight scene at the end.
You know what? You're both... Get out of my room. Oh, yes. The shadows cast upon Frankenstein at the end really reflect the fact that the curtain's truly being drawn on his life this time.
I actually hate you.
That's what my degree in literature and writing studies has allowed me to do, is just bullshit my way through everything.
It was representative of their impending doom.
And Dracula was a victim of his own arrogance, which is why he could not make it back in time.
Pure hubris, Dracula. Pure hubris.
All right. My man. Oh, that was fun. Oh, so yeah, I think that is across the board not recommendation.
Oh no, don't say that.
No.
What are you talking about?
Wait, what did I say?
I highly recommended that everyone watch the true crime documentary on Netflix called Abducted in Plain Sight.
Well, we should have, and we could have talked about it on this episode. With somebody
We'd
over
still
here.
be talking about it
Yeah.
right now. We'd be about 15 minutes into talking about it right now.
Do you guys have you seen movies that are similar in like how insane they are to this one?
I watched
Just how-
a
Oh, this
movie
one?
called Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter once. That was
Did he have a
actually
large
probably,
fedora?
No, he was like wearing Jesus shit, but then like kind of does a costume change halfway through, so you can't even really tell that he's Jesus anymore. He's just a dude, like because he gets a
That doesn't-
haircut
That
and then
doesn't
like
count movie. That
Yeah.
doesn't count.
the vampires are lesbians. I don't know. It's weird. It was actually more nonsensical than this, which is saying a lot.
But sounds more enjoyable.
You think that again? It's
Does
kind of
it contain-
it's a clickbaity title.
Does
is
it
what I'm
contain
saying.
problematic scenes?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Well, Brandon here is saying that it's the best movie he's ever seen.
You're goddamn right. You're goddamn right.
All right, well, does anybody have anything else before we end this nonsensical episode? This episode is very reflective of the movie we watched.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. No, just
This is my
no,
Gummy Bears peanut butter chocolate
linear
sandwich.
as that movie was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
no. I mean, my closing statements are Nick can go fuck himself.
Raquel, do you have any closing
I have
statements?
yet to meet Nick. I just really hope he's not still stuck on the 5 freeway.
He might.
might
He's
be.
going to Las Vegas. He might be.
That's true.
Help! Oh, come on. First of all, that would assume that Nick was the one driving. Which we all know he isn't. But I did hear he got a snazzy new purple leopard print blazer. And Nick, you better fucking show us that blazer.
He's a sharp little boy.
He's being a little fancy boy in Las Vegas. All right, this is getting ridiculous. I'm going to close it out. I've been Anthony Trevino.
I'm Brandon Freeze talking pie.
And Nick's replacement is...
Raquel, thanks.